Hey everyone, it's Jonathan, and welcome back to the Christmas Movie Marathon. And in a rare turn of events, we are immediately revisiting a movie we just talked about. Last week, Eli Sanza and Larry Chilson joined me to talk about That Christmas, and none of us really liked it. But that episode is going to be the first part of an ongoing miniseries next year looking at different up-and-coming animation studios, so we'd already decided to review That Christmas before we'd even watched it. Now normally, I like to get at least one person on the show who enjoyed a movie. In most cases, if it's a purposely bad movie or a so bad it's good movie, then trashing is half the fun and I don't care as much. But for That Christmas, I kind of felt bad that none of us liked it. The animation was very well done. The story, while not to my liking, was competently written, even if it felt rushed to me. But I've seen plenty of actual bad movies over the years doing this podcast, and even though I personally didn't like this one, I can't call it a bad movie. But after I released that episode, Mark Brown commented that he had loved this one and called it an instant classic. Well, shoot, we should have had him on the episode so it wouldn't feel like a dog pile on the movie. Well, who's to say I still can't? So, joining me as a redemption of sorts is Mark Brown. Larry, Eli, and I may not have liked this one, but there are plenty of people who did, so Mark is here to represent them. So I don't usually do follow-ups, especially not this close to releasing an episode about a movie. But with this one, I didn't like this movie, but I kind of felt bad that none of us liked it, especially because it's a new movie. And I could see the potential that this movie had. I just felt like it didn't live up to the potential. But since you said you really liked this one, I was like, well, let's have him on and we'll have a second opinion.
Fourth opinion, if you will.
That's true, yes.
The other three just happen to agree with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you said, I actually really enjoyed That Christmas. I thought it was a classic. Actually, I should have, I don't know if you follow, do you follow Darius Asadi on, Instagram?
I don't think so. The name doesn't sound familiar.
Okay, well, he's like big and he lives in the UK, but he like works on animated shows and, I've had him on the game show a couple of times, but like he and I both like loved this movie, so we like geeked out about it together. So anyway, but yeah, this movie I liked it a lot. The first of all, I should say, like I'm sure you talked about, this is Locksmith Animation's second film. The
Mhm.
first one being Ron's Gone Wrong, and I was a huge Ron's Gone Wrong not apologetic, but fan. Like I loved Ron's Gone Wrong. Like I know a lot of people loved Mitchell's versus the Machines, which I did. I did like that a lot, but I absolutely adore Ron's Gone Wrong, and I thought for an animation studio's first film, that was like really, really great. And so I was really looking forward to what their second film would be. So with That Christmas, I wasn't disappointed. I overall pretty much like enjoyed, this sort of, it's based on a book with multiple stories. So it's like a lot of short stories kind of put together to make one film about all these different characters that live in this town. I forget the name of the town right now. But I liked knowing these characters. Especially the main characters, like most of the main characters are kids, and I like the stuff they were going through during the Christmas season. Danny and his like crush on I forget the girl's name. I think it was Sam, and like just trying to do anything he can to let her know that he likes her, but he is absolutely shy and she's absolutely shy as well. And at the same time, he's dealing with his dad not showing up for Christmas and whatnot. And then there's Sam's twin sister, Charlie, who is like considered the troublemaking one and whatnot. And so I like their dichotomy there. I liked a lot of the adults, not all of them, but a lot of them. Like especially Danny's teacher and her. She has like a whole sad backstory, which is never mentioned. Like it's all told in just silence and just visuals, but about I guess her husband who went off to war and never came back. So that's why the Christmas time is like sad for her. And there's just a lot I liked about it. I like the good vibe, the good feelings, I guess, that this movie gave, and the animation style and whatnot. There were some stuff I don't want to say criticism, but maybe nitpicks, like Santa Claus and Santa Claus is pretty much a MacGuffin in this film. Like they tried, like both the trailers, I guess, and the posters are pushing like he's the main character, but he's like in this movie for like 5 minutes at best. But yeah, that and some other stuff that we'll probably get to at the end. But overall, that's my general views on the movie.
Yeah, I think Santa's probably my least favorite thing about the movie. Like, there's a bunch of things I don't like,
Yeah,
obviously, but I feel like Santa's probably the worst. He just kind of annoyed me. Well, the reindeer more than Santa annoyed me.
I don't think I've seen a Santa movie with Santa in it so little.
Yeah, this really wasn't a Santa movie. This is a movie that
Yeah,
just happened to contain a bit of Santa.
a bit of Santa, exactly. And I guess he didn't narrates a bit of it, but like that's really it. They just had to use who was the actor now who voiced him? I forget now. Bill.
Was it Bill Nighy? I forget.
No, Bill Nye. He was the lighthouse guy.
Oh, that's right.
Brian Cox. Sorry,
I
Brian
remembered
Cox.
Bill Nighy was in this, but there were so many characters I couldn't remember who
Yeah,
was who. I think that's my other big criticism. There's way too many characters. I can't for the life of me tell you any of their names.
that's true. Like,
I forgot Danny's name until you mentioned it.
to be fair, I had to look up the the Wikipedia page before doing this to remember the names as well. But I did watch this like when it came out, so what's that? A couple weeks ago by now.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen it since then because I didn't want to watch it again. I thought about it,
Fair.
but I was like, I'm so busy this week. It's Christmas week and I've got to work, so it's like I'm not going to make time to watch it again since I didn't really like it to begin with.
Fair enough.
But I think that the too many characters leads to all most of the problems that I had with it. Like there's
Mhm.
too many characters doing too many things and it's all crammed into one movie. I think this should have been a mini series.
Yeah.
Like I think I would have liked it a lot better if it were a series. Because like all of the characters have potential. Like the
Hmm.
I guess the story with all the parents that get lost in the van and all their kids, that was probably my least favorite storyline because I don't remember any of the kids' names and I didn't care about any of those kids or the parents.
I could agree with that. Yeah, that's probably my least favorite, and that had the most characters. Like it took me forever to figure out who was whose parent.
Yeah, I think if you had cut all of those characters and stretched out all the other stories, that would have been way better. Flesh out those characters more.
Mhm.
But if you've got to keep all these characters, make it a mini series. I think I would have connected to it a whole lot better. Because like the animation was good.
Yes.
I thought the character design was a little generic, but I think it could have worked if I'd have cared
Mhm.
about the characters more. Because like I always have to go back to Hoodwinked. Hoodwinked looked awful. This doesn't look anything like Hoodwinked. This is way
You and
better
me
than
are the
Hoodwinked.
we're the hoodwinked defenders.
Like that movie looks terrible, but it's so funny. And I feel not that this is on par of that with looks or anything, but I feel like if you've got a good script, it doesn't matter what it looks like. So even though I think this looks kind of generic, it could be fine. I just feel like there was potential here that they missed by trying to cram too much into one short runtime.
Yeah, I could see that with a long, like you said, a miniseries or a TV show or something. They could flesh them out more.
Hmm.
Um, I guess like the stories like with Danny and Sammy and Charlie, I feel I mean of course that could probably be stretched more, but I feel that was fleshed out like good enough for a film. And I guess the the story with, all the parents getting stranded or whatever. Like you said, that was your least favorite part and my least favorite story as well. But like I don't know, it didn't annoy me and like as much to like say, oh, I wish they totally cut it out. Like if they did cut it out, yeah, I feel the film could have been better as well. But like
Hmm.
it didn't really get to the point where it like grated on me.
I don't know, like I can't pinpoint like one thing that was like really annoying.
Mhm.
I just didn't really like most of those characters, and I thought that most of the stuff they did just didn't fit in the movie. Like if I feel like there was a great story with the kid and the teacher.
Yeah.
Like I wanted more of them, and I don't feel like that ever went anywhere that I really liked because the teacher always just became cold again and like left. Like I wanted them to have like a real connection, and it never felt like they got there.
Yeah, they kept opening the door to it, but like you said, yeah, at the end, we find out her backstory, but still, it's not like a total reveal or a total change of character.
Mhm. And I don't feel like we were with them enough for me to care enough. Like, I feel like if we had really gotten to know those characters, that could have been like a really emotional reveal at some point. But I didn't really care about them enough. So it didn't really hit me in the way that other movies could have hit me in the past. Just like, oh, that's interesting.
I think part of it could be because the source material is, just a collection of stories. I
Yeah.
haven't read it, but I can't say how true it is to
Hmm.
faithful. I mean, but I think that led to the problem of, just too much going on.
Hmm. Yeah, there's just too much in the movie, and so much that I just couldn't care about the characters.
Mhm. I think like I was really into like the love story between Sam and Danny. So like if there's like a sweet love story like that, I could forgive a lot of things. So I think that kind of overshadowed. I was like so into that. I was like it overshadowed a lot of other stuff. But one thing that like another complaint I had was like at the end where like the parents were like criticizing Charlie, and then Sam kind of just snaps at them at like, oh, you're always like putting down Charlie or saying she's the naughty one or whatever. And I kind of felt that kind of came out of nowhere. Like I didn't really get the feeling that the parents were like as harsh on Charlie as like Sam was making it out to be. So
Mhm.
that kind of came out of nowhere for me as well.
I think it's another casualty of trying to fit too much stuff in there. There wasn't enough time with the characters for us to really understand them.
Mm,
I think if you'd had more time with those characters, that moment could have been a more hard-hitting moment.
fair enough, yeah. And one thing I'd be interested to know is like what scenes were cut from the movie.
I don't think any were cut because it was too crammed full of scenes.
You think they put everything they wanted? They put there was nothing on the cutting room floor.
They probably did, but it feels like they didn't.
Hmm. But I guess for me, besides the Santa, besides the Sam snapping at her parents, and besides it's the whole issue, well, the story with the parents being stranded, I think I liked everything else. Well, also the lighthouse guy, I think he was also kind of underused because he was pretty much there to guide Santa, I guess, and then they used him in the finale to find the missing kid.
That was another storyline that I felt like we needed more of
Hmm.
because you had the mention of him with his mother and his mother's potentially dying and this is going to be his last Christmas with her. But like we only ever like get a glimpse of his mother. That could have been something really special if they had
which make
focused on them.
which makes me feel they probably had more scenes that they cut,
Yeah, you're
or
probably right.
at least hope that they did.
Yeah. Because like like I said, there's so many things in this. It felt like there was potential there for a good story, and then they just didn't. They
Yeah,
fo I
yeah,
again, I feel like they focus too much on the kids whose parents get lost in the van.
yeah. There was a lot because I guess it's because there are a lot of characters there. That's why they focus on them. But yeah, yeah, it shouldn't have been on them mostly.
Yeah, I think that's probably why I feel like they got too much focus. They probably didn't get much more focus than any of the others. It's just they were my least favorite story, and the fact that they kept going back to them when I thought the other characters were
Hmm.
more interesting is why I feel like
Yeah,
they had
yeah,
too much screen time. Again, I feel like a miniseries could have solved that. Give everybody more time.
yeah. Or at least a television series or something. But yeah.
Yeah. I should also mention, because one thing that I forgot to mention as a positive when we did our main episode, I liked the turkeys. For whatever reason, I liked their design. Like
Yeah,
everybody else felt kind of generic, but
yeah.
there was something about the turkeys that I liked.
Well, I forget the name of the guy, but I like the owner who's like jipping up the prices for the turkeys because
I
he
thought
knows
he
he's
was
the one.
annoying.
Yeah.
He was one of those characters that it felt like they just made him a villain for no reason.
But at the end, I guess he kind of turns like, or like the teacher pretty much orders
That
him to,
forces him to
yeah,
be nice.
yeah. I was like,
Well,
Merry Christmas.
I don't know if he'll stay nice, but he turned nice out of necessity, I guess.
Yeah. But overall, like for me, Locksmith Animation is a two for two. So like, I'm really looking forward to whatever they have coming up. But it's more so than I feel about Skydance Animation.
I still haven't watched the Skydance stuff. We're gonna do that at some point next year. I've
Ah,
so far I have not heard anything positive about Skydance. Like all the reviews that I see, not that they're necessarily negative, it's just like more meh.
mhm.
Like it's not horrible, but it's not great either.
So you can cut this if you want, but my brief overall, like just brief thoughts on them. Luck I liked, but like you said, it's very meh. It's very generic. There's nothing amazing about it. There's nothing outstanding about it. For a debut film, it's fine. Like that's the best way to put it. It's fine. Like I would watch it again, but it's not like I love the film or like it a lot. Even it's merely fine. The other one, Spellbound, I have a lot of I have thoughts on that one. I won't say too much to not spoil it for you, but that one had a that one's a mixed bag. There's stuff I liked. And there's stuff that yeah, that was a mixed bag. I'll tell you more about it when you see it. But yeah, but overall, that's how Skydance is for me. Like Luck, I liked Luck better, and that was like fine at best. But the only saving grace for Skydance animations to me is the next few films that are coming up are the ones that are being made by like filmmakers that we're more familiar with, like the film directed by Nathan Greeno, who directed Tangled, and the I think there's a is it John Lasseter or Brad Bird? It's one of the Pixar guys who's directing a film for them too. That's coming up soon as well. So that's my only hope that they can get better. But yeah, that's where they stand with me right now.
Yeah, again, I haven't seen them, so I can't comment on the films themselves, but
Yeah.
I think as far as like the animation goes, they look decent. And I think if they get a good writer and a good team, they probably have potential, which is how I feel about Locksmith too. Like I liked Ron's Gone Wrong a lot better than that Christmas. But
Okay,
either
I can agree
way,
with you then.
either way, I feel like they have potential. They just need a good team behind the movie. I think they have a good staff of animators. They just need something great to work with.
Mhm. Well, I hope me saying I like that Christmas more than Luck and Spellbound doesn't turn you off.
I mean, I'm already going into those with very low expectations.
Well, that might
So
help.
that usually helps.
Yeah.
Well, you said something about the end of the film. Did you have thoughts about the end of the film?
Oh, I was referring to when Charlie snaps at her parents.
Oh,
I think
okay.
that was it. Yeah. That the actual ending where it's like a beach day and they go swimming. It was like okay, uh, great.
That
But
was so bizarre.
maybe it's a British thing.
Taking a literal baby into the freezing ocean in the middle of winter, that seems illegal.
You know, the babies up north, they're strong. Sure, there's some
Maybe
Nordic babies
so.
out there who are like, you know, we do this at for months at the end. Good for Russian blood. Okay. I would be open to a sequel for this. You probably wouldn't, but I would.
I mean, if they made one, I'd watch it, but only because I'm sort of a completionist and
Yeah.
I'm hoping for the best with these new animation studios.
Hmm.
But like, I don't really care enough about these
Hmm.
characters to want more with them. Like, if they pared it down and focused on just a handful of them, maybe I would be more open to it.
Maybe they'll listen to this podcast.
We'll see. I
I think
doubt it.
another thing, if I have to make one more nitpick, I don't like the title of that Christmas. I think it's a little
No.
too vague
Yes, it's
and
so
forgettable,
generic.
and also like easily mixed up with other films.
Yes, I kept calling it Last Christmas and I didn't even
Yeah.
realize I was doing it.
Uh-huh. If I'm not mistaken, I think one of the writers of this film wrote Love Actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, which I've never seen, so
I also never seen it either, so
I can't make any comparisons, so I don't
yeah.
know. I know that that's one of those like famous films, but I don't know how
Hmm.
great it is.
But I think that's also yeah, I haven't seen it either, but I think it's also one of those films where there's like a lot of characters and a lot of different stories together. So it seems to be like a thing.
Maybe that's just a thing he likes to do.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's any films that I really like that has this many characters, because nothing really comes to mind.
Pirates of the Caribbean, Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings would be different though because it's so much longer.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You get more time with each character.
Yeah, every film I'm thinking of with a lot of characters, they're longer films. So
Yeah. And even when it's a film that has a lot of characters, you still have your core like handful that are the main characters, and then the others are kind of off to the side.
mhm.
This one wanted to have like three batches of main characters, and I think
Yeah.
that's ultimately what hurt it for me.
The only other thing I could think of is like Murder on the Orient Express, but like that's already a murder mystery, so you're already going in knowing that all these characters are suspects.
Mm. Because now I'm also thinking of Muppet movies, but again, you just have a handful of Muppets that are the main Muppets, and then the rest of the wacky background characters.
And even with the humans, it's like most of them are just the cameos. There's only a couple that are like the main
Yes.
humans.
Yeah. Yeah, Muppet movies usually have a huge cast, but then you only focus on like maybe two humans and up to like five Muppets,
Five
maybe.
Muppets. Yeah. So would you say you enjoyed the Alice in Wonderland thing we watched in Christmas or more than this movie?
Oh, way better.
Oh, okay.
I would rewatch Night Before Christmas in Wonderland long before I'd watch that
That's what it was
Christmas.
called, yeah. Okay, nice.
Like when I was putting together that episode, I started watching just for one song, and I just kept it going. I was like, okay, this is actually fun. I could watch this all again. Like I still have some issues with it, but like it was fun.
Mm.
And most of the songs I liked. Maybe not love. Like I loved the Bandersnatch, and the rest were
Bandersnatch, yeah.
the rest were fine to good, with the exception of the "It's Cool to Be Kind." That one was just
Mhm.
annoying.
Yeah. All right, well, fair enough. I'll be the one who likes that Christmas. I'll be there. Well, I'm sure there's others too, like Darius and whatnot. But I'm glad I could offer a second opinion to you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
A different
'Cause,
opinion, I guess.
like I said, it's not necessarily a bad movie. I just didn't
Yeah.
like it, and I think it didn't live up to its potential. But I know there are people who like it because I
Mm-hmm.
saw some really positive reviews online, which
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Baffling.
confusing to me. But I mean, there's something for everyone. So just because I don't like something doesn't mean that it
Mhm.
has no merit. So
Yeah, there are like people who don't like Toy Story 5. Not 5, Toy Story 3.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
not
I
out
fully,
yet, but
yeah.
I'm sure there are people who hate it already.
Yeah, right. You're right. Yeah, again, overall I enjoyed it. I loved the love story. I loved the character, the kid characters especially. I thought Santa was a MacGuffin. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the gist of it.
Yeah, again, like I said, I feel like it had potential. I don't think it lived up to it, but I'm glad that you liked it, and I'm glad that there are other people who liked it because, like, I don't want, like, just because I don't like something doesn't mean that I feel any ill will towards Locksmith. I want them to succeed because I want some new players in the game to come up. Not that I'm like I don't love a lot of things that Disney is doing, but like I'm not actively seeking their downfall. I love Disney. I have a whole podcast dedicated to Disney,
Mhm.
but I feel like they need some good competition to get them back. Like I feel like that's partly how they came out into the Renaissance is
The
because
Renaissance, yeah.
Don Bluth came in and started giving them actual competition.
So they had to up their game.
Yes, I want somebody to come along that makes Disney up their game.
Well, DreamWorks has been doing that a lot recently. I
They
mean,
definitely
like
have, but I feel like they're
Puss in
kind
Boots
of a
2 and the Bat Guys and whatnot.
I feel like they're kind of a mixed bag because they'll go from one amazing thing to one meh to
Yeah.
an amazing thing to a meh. Like they swing too wildly.
I think they release too many films a year. If they cut it down to maybe one a year, they could spend more time on each and then make them each good.
Yeah.
Because like when was the last time Disney, in terms of the canon, released two films a year in the same year? I can't think of when. Maybe Fantasia 2000 and I don't know. Well, Emperor's New Groove was. Well, I
I
guess
feel like
Fantasia
two things
2000.
came out in the same year when Zootopia was released. So wasn't something else released that
Oh,
year
what's a
too?
Moana? Zootopia Moana.
Oh, were they the same year? Okay.
Mhm.
So yeah, then that's probably the last time.
Yeah.
Which I mean, Those two were both amazing.
Yeah, that was a
So,
good example of not like too bad films.
I mean, I kind of hope, like, I haven't seen Moana 2 yet. I would like to get there before it goes out of the theater, even though I haven't heard that many great reviews. But I'm
Oh,
hoping
right.
that since they have this other studio now in Canada, like, it could be a thing like what happened with The Lion King and Pocahontas, like two studios working simultaneously on two different projects. Like, don't stretch everybody too thin. Give different groups their own projects to work on. Because I feel like if you want to increase your output, you need to increase the people working
Mm.
instead of like I don't know exactly how DreamWorks is doing it because I don't keep up with DreamWorks as much as I do Disney. So I don't know how many people are running between projects, but like I feel Disney, if they want to increase their output, they need to get more people working on more projects instead of just trying to increase their output. So I don't know.
I didn't even realize they had a studio in Canada.
Well, that's where Moana 2 came from because the studio, I think, was set up to work on television
Yeah, because
projects.
I know it was supposed to be a television show. I didn't realize it was Canada, but okay. But yeah, if they do stuff with that studio, that I could see it could be like the new Disney Toon Studios.
I'm hoping so, but better than Disney Toon Studios. I mean, Disney Toon Studios did have some good things, but for
Yeah,
the most part, what they're known for is the quote unquote
and
cheap
not suck.
quills,
True.
which I don't want more cheap quills, which I know that's what they're likening Moana 2 to. Which I don't like. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't fully say. I just from looking at the trailer, I don't really agree with that assessment because it looks good. The story is what I'm apprehensive about, but at least from an animation perspective, I don't think you can compare it to a lot of the Disney cheapquels.
But yeah, I'm sure the budget was probably bigger, especially.
Yeah. Well, I think we've said all that we have to say and more about that Christmas.
Which one? Oh yeah, that one. Okay.
Yeah. Not
Lots of jokes
last
behind that.
Christmas, that
Yes,
Christmas.
that Christmas.
Well, until next year, next time, whatever we come back for in the future, do you want to let people know where they can find you if they'd like more from you?
You could check me out at my blogs, The Animation Accommodation at theanimationaccommodation.com. I do a couple of reviews. I do top 13 lists, and I host a animation themed Who Wants to Be a Millionaire game show. And I also have my live action Disney project at myliveactiondisneyproject.com, where I'm trying to watch and review every single theatrically released live action Disney film ever made. So you can check me out there. Thanks.
Okay, well, we'll see you in the future for something new.
That Christmas too. Santa Returns.
I hope not. I mean, if that Christmas too it gets made, fine, but I just hope Santa's not involved.
That Easter.
Actually, that's a weird enough idea that I would maybe kind of be into that. Maybe they'll have an actual Easter bunny.
You'll also be a MacGuffin.
Anyway, see you next time.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Christmas Movie Marathon. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and follow my co-hosts as well. My link tree and all of our links will be in the description below. If you want more of my content, all my podcasts are available on YouTube as well as most podcast platforms. If you enjoyed this show, check out one of the other podcasts or check out my Patreon for bonus and extended episodes you won't find anywhere else. We'll be back soon with another brand new episode, so thanks for listening and we'll see you next time.